My name is Matt Hendricks, tattooer, innovator, procrastinator, up at Demographics. I'm tattooing for about 8 years now.
All right, man, so when did you first start tattooing?
Man, I was 16 years old. It's kind of a long story. To keep it kind of short, my stepdad kind of dabbled with it, so he got a cheap tattoo kit, man, messed with it a couple times, and I was just 16 years old, man. I was at the house, I was bored, everybody was gone, so I went in there and I took it all out of his closet and took it back to my room and started trying to set it up, man. It took me like an hour and a half to figure out how to put the needle in the tube, man, but boy, my face, man, right when I hit that button and that sound come on, man, it was like a kid in Christmas, you know what I mean? I put a little dot on my knee, man, I just glee all over my face. But anyways, it just kind of took off from there, man. That next day, I got family in Shreveport, and I called my uncle. I was like, hey, man, I got some tattoo stuff. And he's like, yeah, bring it, bro. So went down there, man, and started jacking people up, too. Wait until like probably a couple weeks to a couple months, somewhere in there, man. I can't really remember. I started grasping, and for those first 2 or so years, I was just self-taught. So that come with a lot of bad habits, you know. I didn't know, you know what I mean. And I've been wanting to talk to some artists in town, you know, to kind of get, I guess, more experienced. I knew I was doing stuff I could do it better. But Michael Spades, man, my stepdad went back in the day with him, man, and he was actually up here at Demographics tattooing at the time. So I come up here and introduced myself to him, and then right off the bat I was like, so what do you think about my work? I was eager, man. I needed to know, and me being so eager, man, I was like, so what do you think, man? What do you think about my work? And he told me straight up, man, you fucking suck, bro. Exact words, not. And man, that started a fire in me, dude. Like it pissed me off, and not because like it hurt my feelings or whatever, but I thought I had come so far, and I didn't even scratch the surface, you know what I mean? And I remember going home because he said all the tattoo stuff I was using was trash, and I just wrecked it, dude. I threw it all away, man. Threw all my drawings away, threw everything away, and tried my best to just erase my memory. And I think that was the hardest transition from the house, from tattooing in my bedroom as a 16-year-old kid to tattooing in a shop is bad habits, man, and trying to get out of that, because once you do it, man, it's just like you get accustomed to it, you know what I mean? And anyways, I'd say about 2, 3 weeks before I graduated high school, I got first job offer in there's a Modern Printers out in Domino off of 59, and that's where I was, man. Like most people went there to get certain things, you know, but they had, you know what I mean? They had a couple tattoo booths in the back, and that's where I was, man. But bad location for tattooing, you know. When people drive on 59, man, you live in Atlanta or you're going out of town, and nobody is gonna stop and be like, oh, this rinky-dink building in the middle of nowhere, let's stop here and get a tattoo. So I was there for about 2 weeks, man, until I did my first tattoo, and it got rough, man, like hardly doing anything. And then found out I had a son on the way, and I needed to make money, you know. I needed to be prepared. So that's when Wicked over at Illusions, man, that's when he come over and put a little birdie in my ear, and I went over there for a while, man. And this whole time, even since I was a 16-year-old kid, man, I've always wanted to be here to tattoo at Demographics. Only place I wanted to be, man. And but anyways, I left there, went to Illusions, and I was there for maybe a couple months. And I was going to what was it, 3 holes down to they had Sullen shirts there, which is a shirt company, and it's made by tattoo artists, you know. They design the shirts and stuff, so that was the only place I could find them. So me making trips over there, getting shirts and stuff, checking out their merch, and John Maurer, the owner, he would you know, drop hints at me like, man, whenever you're ready, bro, come on over. So things didn't work out over at Illusions, man. They're all good guys over there, you know what I mean, but just looking for something better, you know, still worried about my son. So I go over there, man, and
So what year are we in right now, Hendricks?
this would be, let's see, this would be 2012.
So
I graduated in 11, yeah, about 2012.
so what year of tattooing?
This would be third,
Year.
maybe fourth year in.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right, because I didn't really, like when people ask me how long I've been tattooing, like I'll ask them like, you want me to tell you like how long professionally, or like just how long, you know what I mean? And I really start my professional career probably when I started at Texarkana Inc., because that's just kind of where I started to, I guess, blossom, I guess, or started to, you know, bust out of my shell and get a little more experienced, man. At the time there was good artists there, and I could learn a lot from them, you know what I mean? And but anyways, I was there for about 5 years and some change, man. And there was a falling out, and made my way over here, man. And
How long you been here?
I've been here for about 2 months, man.
Yeah.
Good solid 2 months.
That's where you wanted to be.
That's where I want to be, man.
Yeah. So in the 2 months, how's it been going? Like, you been getting the clientele?
Yeah. Well, I'm still in that transition, you know, because I worked there for 5 years at Texarkana Inc. So sometimes people, you know, like I'll have an appointment and they'll go to Texarkana Inc. instead of coming here, you know what I mean? Which is cool, you know. They just don't know yet, but it's going good, man. It's going really good. I really like it.
So as far as tattoo artists, do you have a favorite, like outside of you spoke of earlier, like a famous tattoo artist, anything that inspired you?
Man, probably a couple, man. But I'm weird as far as like, I was just weird as hell anyway. But as far as like inspiration and where I get inspiration, it could come from anything, man. Black and gray work, man. Probably. I really like what Bob Terrell does with his black and gray work, man. He has a lot of texture in his portraits and stuff, man.
Where's he from?
Man, don't get me lying, dude. I probably couldn't answer that question right, but I met him once, man, at Voodoo Tattoo in New Orleans tattoo show down there, and he's a pretty cool cat, man. And he, like, it really depends on the person, you know, because he hasn't been tattooing too long, you know what I mean? He's an old school cat, but I think he's got, I don't even want to talk for him, man. I want to mess his stuff up, you know what I mean? But the way he explained stuff, man, he did a seminar and he was just kind of talking about stuff and opened my eyes a lot to stuff, you know what I mean? But as far as the inspiration thing goes, man, you know, I've always been told it's good to work with people that are better than you. Always put yourself in a shop where people, and I'm a firm believer of that. But you can still learn from people that aren't per se as good as you. You know what I mean? At the other shop, man, the apprentice taught me how to run a what's it called, man? Thermofax run a Thermofax machine to do a stencil, because I used to always do them by hand, man, always. And he was like, "No, Matt, God damn it, you gotta do it this way, bro." And I was just like, "Man, don't tell nobody here that the apprentice just told me how to do something." But you know, you can get it anywhere, man, from anybody.
So I was going to ask you, like, did you know how to draw? Because there's got to be a drawing element into this, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have to have that artistic eye. If you just start from scratch, man, it's gonna be a long road. You know what I mean? My bad, dude. Anyways, what did you just ask me, bro?
Like, if you knew how to draw. Like.
Oh yeah, man, I've always kind of drawn as a kid, you know. I could always look at something and mimic it and draw it, you know. Even when I was a really little kid, man, I couldn't draw then, but I'd always ask my mom, like, "Mom, draw me a Power Ranger," stuff like that, you know what I mean? But a lot of it, how I learned best, man, was looking at stuff and try to draw it exactly like that. And I tell, like, people that are learning, apprentices, you know, if there's anything I can tell them if they have, you know, trouble with drawing or whatever, or their artistic eye, you know, if you draw something enough to look at it and draw it, soon enough it's going to be embedded in your brain. So then you can start branching off of that. You know what I mean? It's just the more you do it, the better you get. Same with anything. You know what I mean? But some people are just naturals, man. Some people can just close their eyes and think, and they can put it on paper. And some stuff I can do that, some stuff I cannot.
So you've been tattooing for a while, so is it anything that you've ever been uncomfortable doing, or just been like, man, that's weird?
I knew you was gonna ask me this question, man. I knew it. I mean, yeah, definitely. There's definitely been some situations. I'm just trying to weed through the ones I want to tell you about. I think the most painstaking tattoo I've ever done was a dude's eyelids, and don't even get me started, man. This guy, I started tattooing on him when I was out in Domino, and he was the first person's head I've ever tattooed the back of his head. And then a couple months later, he's the first person I've ever tattooed on their face, and he gets trouble like on the whole right side of his face, and I'm like, okay, he's exposing me pretty good to all this stuff, you know what I mean? And I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, that's gonna look good for your portfolio, dude. Anyways, he comes in. I'm at Texture Candy Inc. now, and he found me over the years again, and he come in there and he's all hyped up, man. He was like, dude, today's the day. And I was like, oh, the day for what? Because every other time I tattooed him, it was some crazy stuff, man. I knew it was coming. He's like, I want to get eyes on my eyelids, and my heart stopped. I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean your eyelids, dude? So anyways, man, I had to take his eyelid and like pull it out into the most painstaking tattoo I've ever done in my life.
I mean, I know it's doable. I've seen millions of eyelid tattoos, but I never talked to anybody about it. So you said you pull the eyelid and basically draw it on there, like with the needle. And
with the needle.
Super gentle, right?
Yeah. Yep. I tried my best to Google it to kind of get some. The only thing I could find was it's the closest you can get to tattooing a penis, and I've never done that, so I was kind of on my own with it. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, he was totally hyped about it.